but go with it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Otoshi Monologues, my excuse to talk, rant, and embarrass myself in front of all of y'all. This episode is dedicated solely to Michelin Star Ramen in Tokyo. Yep, I was actually lucky enough to visit a couple of these Michelin Star ramen places, and also got to try the instant ramen produced by these Michelin Star restaurants. That's right, in Japan you can get a Michelin rated meal turned into a less than a 500 yen meal, and you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own home. So now let me start off with one restaurant that I didn't get to visit in person, Tsuta's, with their Instant Soba. Their restaurant is located in Shibuya, but due to train scheduling issues and not wanting to wake up really early in the morning, I didn't get to try the real deal ramen. Somewhere amongst the Japanese, it says there's a rich oil that tastes like chicken and seafood, and they use actual black truffle oil in the soba. Now time to try the Michelin Guide ramen. And oop, what the heck? Why are there so many packets? Is that meat? Holy crap. You got the bamboo shoots, the liquid soup base, special oil, dried meat, and green onions. The meat was noticeably fatty going in, and it made some of the green onions get stuck in the package. Here goes the soup base. Ooh. It smells pretty strongly of soy sauce, but seems a little sweeter. Definitely a pretty savory umami smell though. And whoops, I made a mess. I'm so dumb. But hey, miraculously, nothing spilled on my shirt. I call that a win. Time for some special oil. It's got coagulated fat chunks in the package and smells like pork fat. Oh man, this is gonna be great. Time for water. Pardon my mess from the liquid soup. And look, you can see that the special oil is floating on the surface. And good night, Mr. Ramen. See you in 5 minutes. Sleep well while I wait. And editing magic, 5 minutes later. Ah, yum yum time. Look at that. It looks exactly the same as it did 5 minutes ago. And smell test. The pungentness of that soup base has gone away, and it has lost the powerful soy sauce scent. But I mean, that's expected because I just diluted a concentrate. So, yeah. And that special oil really pools on the top. And here's what the meat looks like. Oh, it fell apart. Must be good. Here's what the bamboo shoot looks like if the camera would focus. But nothing crazy special. Here's some noodle movement. Looks pretty good. And even the green onions are fancier than normal. Oh my gosh, just focus! Well, let us taste, shall we? Okay, let's get some noodle with the soup and it's aight. The noodles are definitely better than your standard instant noodle. It is actually the texture of a noodle and isn't foamy or spongy, but it's a thinner noodle that kind of reminds me of the noodle you would find in like wonton soup, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't associate it with ramen or soba like the packaging claims it to be. But it's got a good chew. Soup-wise, it's good. Not too strong of a flavor. Definitely tastes cleaner than other broths. I feel like you can tell that there's not as many additives, which makes it seem healthier, but to me it makes it seem like it's lacking flavor. Bamboo shoot time. Very crunchy. Still good though, but not as tender as I prefer. Update. I think that one was just a bad one because for the most part they're pretty tender, but overall still slightly firmer than you would get at a restaurant. Meat, holy cow. Or I guess, holy pork. Only complaint is that it's so thin and little. It's got a crazy amount of flavor packed into it though. Very shoyu-esque. Texture also pretty good. Green onions, texturally disappointing. Very mushy. But that's pretty standard for dried green onions. Flavor-wise, it packs a punch. It like absorbed the flavors from the meat being in the same package as it, and then it whacks you while you chew into it, while still tasting like green onion. Trying the soup by itself, I can definitely appreciate it more. Slight sweetness to it, and if you get a lot of that special oil, it really is a game changer. It gives it a much richer mouthfeel because it's fat, but yummy. Definitely the fanciest instant noodle that I've had, but still can't come close to the real deal. For around 500 yen, I would still be satisfied with other instant ramen, and then just save this fancier stuff for a dinner out and about. But final comment, the packaging doesn't lie. That is what it looks like when you make it, but I couldn't detect the truffle flavor very well. Now moving on to Nakiryu, which is located pretty close to Ikebukuro. I got to try both their in-person tantanmen and their instant tantanmen for a true taste comparison. Starting with the in-person visit, Eric and I went on a Saturday and got there when they opened around 11:30 a.m. and then we had to wait approximately 70 minutes to get inside. The line to get in is outside on the street, but they have a rail for you to just lean or sit on. And then the staff comes out with umbrellas if you're getting attacked by the sun. So overall, it's a pretty comfortable wait. And the wait is definitely worth it if you like tantanmen. Everything on their menu is under 1500 yen, and they have two main ramen broths for you to choose from. A tantanmen, which is peanutty and spicy, and then a shio, aka salt broth. And then they have a list of various toppings that you can add on. As with most ramen shops in Japan, you order using a vending machine, and then you take your order ticket to the bar seating area and then give it to the chef. As a very indecisive person, I decided to get the ramen that allowed me to make as little decisions as possible. So I got the ramen that had a little bit of everything. The tantanmen with deluxe toppings. And price-wise, still very comparable to a ramen from California. And it comes with, get ready, grilled pork, vegetable, thin sliced pork, soy sauce egg, duck meatball loaf thing, shrimp and pork wonton, and the star tantanmen. Then I plopped all my toppings into the soup for the full wow factor. Oh, I know. Just trying the soup first, you know, to coat the palate. And wow, the depth of flavor. It was a really rich flavor, but still seemed like a light broth. The spice was on point with the lovely, meaty, nutty combination. Noodle time. The one observation that I've made at these various ramen shops is that the fancier it gets, the thinner the noodles seem to be. These noodles were approaching like somen thickness if you've ever had somen. But if not, these noodles compared to like instant ramen noodles is like the difference between angel hair pasta and fettuccine. The texture of the noodles were also more firm, not a lot of chew, but those noodles really lock in all that soup. Noodle quality wise, I mean, I'm sure it was really good. I have no complaints, but the noodles really were just the vehicle to get more soup into your body and to fill you up with starch. Toppings? Heck yeah. The different pork cuts? Ermagerd. The thin one was like melt in your mouth, but both of them flavor-wise were just like really good pork flavor and salt. Trying to remember if they were a little bit smoky or not, but either way, oh, they were so good. Egg time! Here's that jellied egg yolk goodness. The duck meatball, the wonton, and the vegetables were all pretty good too, but I mean, they tasted pretty standard. The duck meatball tasted like any other meatball made from ground meat. Pretty crumbly, probably made with little to no binders. It's not like an Italian meatball. The wonton had chunks of ground pork and shrimp. Yeah, I mean, it was a wonton. And the vegetables were, you know, vegetables. I still devoured the whole thing though. But enough for me. Let's hear a Riku review.
It's the best ramen I've ever had.
Yeah?
Though.
Okay.
For sure. The noodles were super good. The broth was super good.
Was it so good?
Yeah, the chashu was just like insane.
Yeah?
Overall though, best tantanmen I've ever had. Definitely a 10 out of 10 place. Quality of ingredients, atmosphere, price, there's nothing to hate about this place. If you're not allergic to peanuts and you like some spicy, it's definitely worth trying. I recommend. And you can say you went to a Michelin Star restaurant. And with that review, let's see how the instant version compares to see if you can get the same kind of experience in the comfort of your own home. Look, I met that man. Cool inside packaging. Always gotta promote the restaurant. And looks like we have 3 packets in here. A soup pack, a vegetable pack, and some special pack that says to put it in after you steep your ramen tea. And ploppo! Here we go. Visually looks kinda nasty. Congealed fat? Maybe. And here's our instant tantanmen. Let's do a side-by-side. Yeah, night and day. The toppings for the instant one are some green onions and little meatball bits. Thought I recorded me eating it, but oh well. Flavor-wise it's in the same general category. Like taking the original broth and then diluting it with a bunch of water. And like a lot of water. The noodles seem pretty similar in terms of thickness and texture. The meat bits were pretty nice. And the special fat glob did make it taste a lot better. But still not even close to the real one. Comparing the two of them, it's like a Tesla and Tomater from Cars. With that said though, comparing the instant Nakiryu ramen with other instant ramens I've had, it is pretty top tier. And now moving on to Konjiki for their clam truffle broth ramen. This is the place we tried to go to that one other time we went to Shinjuku, but it was closed. And now, Riku and I are back. Starting off with the atmosphere of the line, it's a lot more hectic than Nakiryu. You're forced to stand really close to all these strangers, and I don't know if it was by chance or not, but the people in line on the night that we went were extremely loud. Ugh, those Americans. I think they were also from the Bay Area too. I was so ashamed. They'd given us a bad name. They also do the ramen vending machine thing, where their 2 main ramen broths both feature clams. But one is an intense shoyu with black truffle sauce, and the other is a mild shio with a white truffle oil. From the one review we read before coming here, I decided to go with the mild shio. You give your ticket to the chef, and then you sit down at the bar and just wait for your food to come to you. Ah! Ramen time! For picture purposes, here's Eric's because he's got the egg boys. According to their website, you got sous vide, chashu, porcini mushroom sauce, white truffle oil, diced arugula, white onion, bamboo shoot, some other sauce, and pancetta to garnish. We also made a friend with the dude sitting next to us because we all speak good English. I apologize. I'm not a big connoisseur of seafood or truffles, and to be honest, at least with pastas, clam sauces aren't my favorite, so I had zero expectations for this ramen. But I think that made my experience with it even better. For my taste buddies, the flavor of this ramen was like the most perfect way that clams and truffles could have combined. And by that I mean, as somebody who's not passionate about either of these flavors, I have no complaints about the way the ramen tasted. I think the way that Konjiki balanced their flavors was the best way that they could have balanced the flavors. It was the right amount of clam saltiness of the ocean with the umami punches of the truffle, with the broth still seeming amazingly light and refreshing. The noodles were still those thinner ramen noodles, and the toppings in this ramen were all very, very yummy. And look at those oil droplets. Oof. Definitely worth coming here too if you're in the area. The wait for this place was a little less than an hour, so shorter than Nakiryu, but atmosphere-wise, being in this line felt a lot longer than Nakiryu. Now let's hear another Riku review.
It was pretty good. Not as good as the other place.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, but if you like softer palates, less flavor, it's good.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was bad because of the other Americans.
Oh yeah,
Otherwise the atmosphere was fine, but it was a lot worse because of that.
Very nice balance of clam and truffles. It was funky.
But like not too funky.
It was nice funky.
Yeah.
It was like...
I'm upset I didn't get chaoshu because that pork was really good. I accidentally didn't get it.
The ramen is still in the 1,000 yen range, so in my books, 10 bucks for a Michelin Star is a no-brainer. 10 out of 10, definitely would go again. Comparing Konjiki to Nakiryu is a little tricky, but after thinking about it, I think I have some answers if you can only choose one to go to. However, I must mention that comparing ramen places where their specialty broth bases are completely different seems totally unreasonable to me, because I feel like they should just be in their own categories altogether, because it's like comparing the quality of a black milk tea to the quality of a green milk tea. I mean, sure, they're both milk tea, but at their core, their flavor profiles are completely different. You know? Okay, maybe that analogy was a little too specific. It's like comparing Coke and Sprite. Sure, they're both soda, but sometimes you want a nice cola, and other times you want a nice lemon lime bubbly fun time. Yeah? Okay, reeling it back in. Personally, I like the flavor profile of the tantanmen over the clam white truffle. Tantanmen is a richer broth with a deeper meaty flavor, while the clam one is more refined and clean feeling. So you know, whichever one strikes your fancy. But if I could only choose one to go back to, I think I would choose to go back to Konjiki, but only because of the availability of the flavors. I've seen tantanmen offered a lot more frequently than this clam truffle ramen, and although taste-wise I prefer Nakiryu and could eat it a lot more often, Konjiki's broth completely shocked me. Maybe it's because my expectations for it were a lot lower to begin with, but it hit the same bar as the tantanmen from Nakiryu. So in terms of net shock factor between expectations and reality, Konjiki edges out Nakiryu for me just by a little bit. But at the end of the day, I would gladly eat either of them, and Nakiryu is still the best and probably will forever be the best tantanmen that I've ever had. And with that, my review of these Tokyo Michelin Star ramen shops has ended. I hope this video gives you an insight into the wondrous world of ramen. And if you ever find yourself going to Tokyo, I hope this video helps you decide which one of these ramen places that you want to go to. Pero, ¿por qué no los dos? Have a fantastic day and night, and I'll talk to y'all next time I do something interesting. Mata next time. Oh, time for the OU. OU. Want it? Oh, I'm falling. Blech.